with Minnesota Vikings offensive coordinator Gary Kubiak leaning towards retirement. Because if you think about it, you're older, you may have some health issues, and what sounds better? Getting Kirk Cousins to pull his head out of his ass, or watching Schitt's Creek and then golfing all day? I don't know. I don't know. But the Vikings may have to find themselves a new offense coordinator. Now, I still think the betting favorite is Clinton Kubiak, especially given Zimmer's comments about continuity, etc. But we've talked about potential outside hires that make sense for the Vikings. And one of them that we suggested earlier in the week was trading for Broncos offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur. I want to expand on that a little bit because, the more I think about it, the less insane it gets, right? Because even though it's never been done before, a team lateral move trades for another team's coordinator. But of course, Zimmer and Shurmur go way back like chiropractic. They worked together and got along phenomenally during their time here, 2016, 2017. And the Broncos, Elway's firing himself by giving himself a promotion. You gotta love that, right? And then they're supposedly going to hire a GM who will have final say, allegedly. And Vic Fangio, frankly, if you would have fired Vic Fangio after this year, I don't think anyone would have batted an eye. They went 5-11. They're just sort of a mess all season. I get that they had to start a wide receiver at quarterback, but frankly, Shurmur did a good job. But yeah, so maybe there's going to be a new regime in Denver afoot, or at minimum, Vic Fangio might be a lame duck with a new GM. So maybe Patty Shurmur could be available if the price is right. So say dangling a 6th-round pick out there, maybe upgraded to a 5th. I don't know. Would it be worth it? It just might be. So let's dig down on this a little bit. So Pat Shurmur came here in 2016 as Vikings tight ends coach, even though he is offensive coordinator and a quarterback guy, and also worked famously with Sam Bradford when he was in Philadelphia the previous seasons, and then took over for Norv after he quit after a handful of games that season. 2017 was the magic year, right? The Vikings went 13-3. The offense, without Sam Bradford, without Dalvin Cook for most of the year, had an amazing season. So the Vikings went 11-13 with Case Keenum, who had the best season of his career by far, throwing for 3,547 yards, passing 22 touchdowns, 7 picks. The running game was solid with Latavius Murray and Jerick McKinnon as 1A and 1B after Dalvin tore his ACL week 4. And then, of course, we know Buffalo right 7 heaven straight from the dome of Patty Shurmur. Let's go. Then he parlayed that into the Giants job. Now, he's 19-46 as a head coach. 2 different stops with 2 years with the Browns and 2 years with the Giants. So he's not a head coach, right? So Peter principle. We've already found his level of incompetency. So yeah, right here, offensive coordinator, work with quarterbacks. That's his spot. So question is, how would this mesh with the Vikings' current offense, which looked phenomenal through parts, towards the end of 2020? I think personnel-wise, it could potentially change who is on the field. So the Broncos ran 11 personnel 67% of the time this season. Shurmur does like to spread it out. The Vikings, of course, ran a league low 29% of 3 wide receivers. But also that could be because of Irv and Gronklin and Rudy, and then also C.J. Ham being pretty damn solid. Plus, the lack of a real wide receiver 3. BC didn't really step up. BB is whatever. And then if you look back 2017, so the Vikings that season ran 11 personnel 70% of the time. Now that could be because of, you had Diggs, you had Thielen, you had Treadwell still trying to make him a thing, as well as Jarius Wright was still getting his. So it made sense, right? So the Vikings could spread it out more. Running the ball, not much would change. So Shurmur is primarily a zone running guy, just like Kubiak, but does run a little bit more inside zone than outside zone. But I think with Dalvin in tow, I think that could change up a little bit. And also, he did work with Dalvin the first 4 games of his rookie year in 2017. So he's very aware of that talent. Dalvin put up 74 carries, 354 yards rushing, 4.8 yards per attempt, and 2 touchdowns before tearing his ACL week 4. Passing game. So Shurmur, West Coast guy, very similar concepts to Gary Kubiak. It's almost like they're West Coast cousins, so they're not straight from the same tree, but they're in the same forest. So Shurmur from the Andy Reid through Mike Holmgren side of things, and then Gary Kubiak is, of course, from the Shanahan tree. And then Shurmur was phenomenal in 2017. His big thing was controlling Case Keenum. So Case, of course, Yeah, a little bit of a gunslinger, takes some chances here and there, but he was keeping his bad habits at bay, and that's what Shurmur's been really good at, accentuating what a quarterback is good at and downplaying what he's terrible at, right? Simple concept, or at least it should be. And I think that would be obviously good for Kirk Cousins and build upon 2019 as well as 2020 after the bye. Maybe the first 6 games of the season doesn't happen with Pat Shurmur in the building. Plus, if you brought him in, I don't think it would necessarily rot the boat too much. So Zimmer, Shurmur obviously worked together before. Running backs coach Kennedy Palomalo was here in 2017 when Shurmur was offensive coordinator. That was Kennedy's first season. And also, I think since the systems and philosophies and principles in both the run and passing game are similar, that it could be copacetic with keeping Clint Kubiak and Dennison and Periani. So a staff shakeup probably not needed. And frankly, I don't think Zimmer wants that, especially since the offense was one of the few things that was actually good at times this year. And then Shurmur could be that bridge to Clint Kubiak yet again. And then maybe Pat Shurmur parlays this into another head coaching job. I don't know. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, don't do it, Pat Shurmur. So go to Denver, go to John. Hey, 6th round pick right in your face. This one's for John. Or a 5th round pick. I mean, the Vikings have done a lot worse things with 5th round picks. You look at Corey Vedvik, you look at Daniel Carlson, KJ Osborne as well. Hey, you could have one of those 3 guys, or we can have Pat Shurmur back. I don't know. Patty seems like a better value for me. But so run it back. Bring back Shurmur. Bring back Everson. Bring back Cordero. Bring back Xavier. Maybe not Xavier. But anyways, your thoughts. Pat Shurmur, let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work, pull some of the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.